Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to Soul Shift Coaching. I am David Hale. Thank you for being here. Well, as you can see, once again, I'm waking up to the sun coming up over beautiful sunny San Diego. And like I tell my team at work and the men and women that I've had the honor and privilege of walking this path of transformation, I'm always going to give you a hug. I'm always going to embrace you. I'm always going to extend my arms and give you a hug. But sometimes I'm going to squeeze the pudding out of you. And that's what this morning is, my dear friends. That's what this morning is going to be. This video is about me squeezing you a little bit. You know, we're coming into the end of the year and we're going to start a new calendar year. It's arbitrary. The only reason why we're doing it is because we're 93 million miles away from the sun, but that's okay. The end of the year and the beginning of the year is a good excuse to assess, evaluate, and plan and get motivated for the next season from a calendar perspective. As I was stepping into adulthood, my father told me a riddle. It wasn't particularly complex, but it made a lot of sense to me. There's a pond and there's a lily pad. And every day, the lily pad doubles in size. And the question is, which day does the lily pad cover the whole pond? Well, it's the day before. So many times, life happens and we're not ready for it. See, the day before, you had all this water. The day before, you had half of the pond that was wide open because the lily pad was on the other half. And you go, I got time. I got plenty of water. I'm not going to run aground. I got time. I got time to invest in my marriage. I got time to date my wife or my husband. I've got time to go back to school. I've got time to invest into a new job. I've got time to get back into shape. I've got time. And then the next day, the lily pad covers the whole pond. And you go, should have done more. I thought I was working. I thought I was pushing in the right direction. I've been so busy. I'm exhausted all the time. My brain just keeps going. I'm constantly plugged in. I'm constantly working. And then you realize when life happens, one of those external shocks, you haven't been pulling and pushing and walking in the direction that you thought you were because you weren't ready for it. Because one thing is for certain, life is going to happen. And you better know what you believe before life happens. And so I have a question for you. Do you believe? Do you believe you'll be alive tomorrow? Do you believe you'll be alive next week? Do you believe you'll be alive in a year from now or 5 years from now? Well, if you do, why aren't you responding to that nudge? Why aren't you responding and honoring that nudge from your spirit? Because that's truth. That's reality. That is meaning. That is hope and faith and everything that provides you with the endurance and the courage and the strength and the power to walk through these days, knowing that you will be alive next year, knowing that you will be alive 5 years from now, and you don't want to wake up one day and say, oh my Lord, I haven't been carrying the load. I've been working, I've been busy, but it's just been misaligned. I've been working, I've been busy, but it's just been down the wrong path. I've been concentrating on the wrong things. I thought I had more time. I thought I was doing it. I really thought I was doing it. And you know you haven't been because deep down you've been ignoring or stuffing or only half entertaining or only fixing around the edges. See, there's a big difference, my friends, between education and eradication. We can educate ourselves silly. You can go to undergrad, masters, get 2 masters, 3 masters, PhD. You can spend your whole life going down this education. You can have 15 letters after your name. But have you eradicated? Education can only go so far. It only touches the outside, right? When we go through life and we go to the gym or we try to eat right or we get all these degrees, it's just simply education. But if we want fundamental change and fundamental transformation, we must eradicate. The old saying, right? You got to pull it out by the roots. Those weeds, you got to pull out by the roots. Education is just running a lawnmower over them. And what's going to happen next week? The weeds will be right there. Education is simply mowing over the weeds. Eradication is getting down in there and yanking them out. And eradication comes from responding to the nudging of your spirit and going where you don't want to go and asking those questions you don't want to ask. Why do I get so angry? Why is it so easy for me to flip a lid? Why does fear drive me away from healthful confrontation? Why do I resent that person? Why am I carrying around this extra baggage? I just don't want to live like this anymore. And so, my dear friends, as we come into the holiday season, I'm going to ask you to make 3 lists. That's it. Just pen and paper. You, a pen, piece of paper during your quiet time. That's your mission over the next few weeks, okay? The first list is to start tracking those thoughts that consume the majority of your thought narrative. Just start listing them down. Few words, just a phrase or two, because we all have a running narrative in our head. So your first list is just to write down those thoughts that pop into your head more often than not. Don't worry about having it perfect. Just get them down on a list. 5, 10, 15 thoughts. Second list I want you to do. Start writing down those pain points. Those are areas you don't want to go. Pain points of maybe childhood or broken relationships or goals not achieved or failures or however you call them out, whatever your pain points are. I want you to start writing those out too. And then last but not least, I want you to start writing out any resentments or anger, and often those two go hand in hand. Are you harboring any resentments against anyone or any institution or anything at all? Where when you start to think about it, you just start to get that, just start writing them down. The majority of your thoughts, the pain list, and the resentments and anger. Hey, Dave, it's the holiday season. Why in the world would I want to do that? Well, it's because it's what your soul has been nudging you to do for years. And it's time to start listening to those nudges, because that is the truth. That is the meaning. That is the hope. That is the joy. That is the power for transformation. And there's something that happens when you write these things down, when you bring pen to paper and you write them down and you bring to the light of day those areas of your life that you've been stuffing or compartmentalizing or rationalizing or justifying away. When you put them down on paper and you allow the light of day to call them out the truth and you just sit there with them, no one else has to see them. It is for you and that pen and that paper, and that's it. It's for you to start getting real with you. It's for you to start hitting pause, slowing down, and making sure that you start this process of alignment of mind, body, and spirit. Because for many of us, we're so busy. We've got our mind going this way, our body's going that way, but the soul has been nudging you for years. And what I humbly suggest to you as we close this year and step into the next one, that it's a great excuse, it's a great opportunity to start to listen to those nudgings. Because the last thing I want for you is for you to wake up next year about this time and say, man, I wish I would have started. See, if we start now, there's enough time. If we start now down this path of investigation, there's enough time. And we can prepare ourselves for when life invariably happens, because it does, and it always will. No one gets out of here without life happening. And you better know what you believe before life happens. And going through this investigation of what are those thoughts that eat up so much time? What are those pain points? And what is the anger and resentments? And bringing them out will allow us to make sure that we are prepared to respond as we are called to respond when you realize that your job and your career is not where you want to be. When you realize you are in a marriage that is slowly fading away, or your dating life is just random. There's really no mission or thought behind it, or you're not where you want to be physically. See, my dear friends, transformation is always on the other side of that alignment of mind, body, and spirit. And so that's what we're doing in part at Soul Shift Coaching. You can see in the description box below 2 links. One is soulshift.org, my coaching site. You can go there and learn more about me, my style, and my approach. And you can also see in the description box below a book coaching link. And you can select it. And there's a free consultation where you and I can connect and talk about who you are, where you are, who you want to be, and how you want to get there. Because I would be honored and privileged to walk with you as we investigate who you are, and where you want to go, because there is always a radical harvest of transformation on the other side of discipline. And you know what discipline is? It's willing to go where you don't want to go. It's the willingness to respond to the nudging of your spirit. Remember, we are a spirit having a human experience. And when we honor those nudgings and we honor it with new thoughts, and we honor it with new physical actions, so our mind and our body and our soul are all pulling in the same direction, you can wake up next year and you can look around and you can say, oh my, I had no idea there was this much freedom. I had no idea how much space I was renting out to unwanted tenants. I had no idea how good I could actually feel physically. I had no idea that I could conquer the way that I feel if I don't feel a particular way one day. I had no idea what was on the other side of consistent willingness and intentionality. I had no idea. The bags just keep dropping. Those bag of rocks just keep dropping. Relationships just get stronger and stronger. Your confidence builds in the right way, not on bravado and ego, but going through the repetition each and every day, going through with intentionality builds that confidence. And then you get that hope and you get that joy. And that's what I want for you. That's what we're doing here at Soul Shift Coaching. So go check me out at soulshift.org. Subscribe to the channel. That'd be fantastic. Leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, and give me a thumbs up. That'd be great as well. And remember, my dear friends, there is always a radical harvest of transformation on the other side of discipline. Thank you for being here.